Final Four still here, and Brendan Haywood played in two of them. Joins us now, former Tar Heel. Thanks to Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for the most up-to-date men's and women's games, game lines, and unique prop bets for the Final Four. Brendan, what's up? How are you, man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me, fellas.
What does it feel like to play in the Final Four?
Man, it's an incredible feeling, man. Like you go in there, man. You're playing in one of these incredibly big stadiums. The energy when the team makes a run, you can just feel it. The whole building is loud. Like it's playing in the Final Four is great. Even though I haven't won a championship, I lost in 2 Final Fours. But just the atmosphere, I'm glad I got the experience, even though I didn't get the ring.
Man, I tell you what, Haywood, it must be a hell of a conversation to have with your teammates, man, knowing that you made it to the Final Four and you put us out of the opportunity to go to the Final Four. I'll never forget it in Austin, Texas.
He's not bitter, though.
No, me and Ed Cota we go back and forth on it over and over on social media, man. But tip the cap to you guys, dog. I do want to talk about, man, like how you're judged as a big and how you're officiated. You had that go on, and I think even in our matchup playing against you guys, you fouled out, and I ain't gonna get it verbatim right, you know what I mean? But I think you picked up like 2 offensive fouls, and a lot of it was just carving out space. When you look at a guy like Zach Edey and the way he's officiated, it's not like that as far as it's been in the tournament, as far as him picking up fouls, especially from carving out space and things of that nature. How difficult is it for officials to referee it and for players to defend it?
It's super hard for guys to stop Zach Edey simply because the game is different. It's
right.
not. It's less hand-to-hand combat. It was more physical back in 2000.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so you know how some of that is. So if a guy's getting physical with me, I might want to get physical and carve out some space.
Yeah.
And now I've gone overboard. Now I pick up an offensive foul like you talked about. I did in the game against you guys. Whereas Zach Edey, he does a very smart job. When he ducks in big, but he's never throwing an elbow or a shoulder. He's just carving out that space. And everybody for Purdue, it's almost like they got the memo. Like, listen, fam, if you don't got a wide open J, you pump that thing into the big fella or you coming out the game. Yeah. Because soon as they run a pick and roll action on one side, he ducks in, that ball gets swung and it's right into Zach Edey. And the defenders don't even have a chance to try to play high side or low side. They get stuck behind him. Once you get stuck behind him, he's going to get to that jump hook or he's going to foul out your whole front line.
He did it to Tennessee, that's for sure.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
14 fouls on 3 people.
I did, even though you guys won that and I'm going to leave it alone because it's a wound that's open. Every time I talk to a Carolina player, I ended up playing.
For those that don't know, North Carolina beat Tennessee in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, thanks for reminding everybody.
Yeah, well.
But I did. Our producer.
You want to know one thing you didn't know? I'm so glad we won that game, and not just because we won it, and not because for the right to go to the Sweet 16. You know why?
Why?
You want to know? He's probably a great guy, and he probably is a great guy. But I tell you what, I couldn't stand Tony Harris.
I thought you were going to say something about Slay talking.
No, I didn't really know. I mean, Slay was yapping, but I didn't know Slay.
Yeah, I was a freshman. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony, I just knew, hey, man, Youngin can play,
yeah,
and he's going to talk to you. But Tony Harris was a McDonald's All-American my year, and he was so – he used to joke me all the time at the McDonald's All-American game. I was real heavy then, and he had the most joke. I hated dude.
Yeah.
I was so glad that he was 1 for 10. I still remember his stat line. He was 1 for 10, and we beat y'all. I was so glad.
Haywood.
Haywood. I didn't want Tony Harris to have no life.
That's right.
None of it.
Haywood, listen to me. Man, when we went back and talked about that game, we said all the time, it's 2 factors that I thought that would have helped us win that game. One, if Tony Harris wouldn't have, if he would have made some shots and got his average, just his average. He didn't have to go bananas, just get his average. And 2, I felt like if you never fouled out, they would have just continued pumping the ball into you, and we just would have had to go back and forth. But then they put the ball in Ed Cota's hands, man, and he just went bananas, dog. And him and Forte went loose, so it was different. But our producer did pull out stats from that game, man.
Yes, Slay finished the game with 12 points. You finished it with 11.
Oh!
And then Brandon, you had 5 total rebounds in the game. Slay had 7, but Haywood did have 4 blocks. So you had 9.
He probably blocked one of mine in the stands. Him and Julius Peppers.
Just let you know.
Absolutely.
But you were right about Harris because Harris was 1 for 10 in the game.
I'm telling you.
You remember that. Wow.
You don't forget these moments.
It was one of those things. Tony Harris had no idea how much I disliked him.
Yeah. That's all he used to want to do is joke on people, too.
Yes, he had no idea how much I disliked him. Like I said, he's probably a great guy.
Yeah.
My experience, I couldn't stand him. That was when we were like 18 years old.
Right.
I still remember.
I love these stories, man.
Hey, dog.
Brendan Haywood with us, thanks to Bet Online. You kind of mentioned the Edey part of that. How does that whole matchup with DJ Burns and Edey work itself out? Because they're different players and they may not even guard each other.
I think that it's going to be domination by Edey. He's been dominating people all year long. And I know DJ Burns is a great story. He's had an incredible run. He plays with touch, poise, passion, the footwork. I love it. But, man, he ain't seen 7-4. He ain't seen – like, you can't replicate that in practice. It's like, yeah, they've been bigger guys that have tried to bump Edey out the lane. Edey's used to that. But Burns, when he tries to go for that up and under and he sees it 7-4, it takes me back to, like, early in my basketball career where, like, I'll be making moves against Yao Ming, and normally I'd get it off, and I'd be like, man, this dude's still here? Like, he's right. I couldn't even see the basket over Yao. Like, no lie, I couldn't even see the basket sometimes when I would jump to shoot my jump hook over Yao Ming. It was like I would jump in the air, like, I hope I can get around his head to locate the basket at some point.
Yeah.
But that is what Burns is going to have to go through because you're not used to playing somebody that size. And then Zach Edey does a great job of carving out space, playing to his strength. He's going to jump hook you to death. He's going to go to the free throw line. He's going to knock his free throws down at a high clip. And NC State, in my opinion, is in trouble because of Zach Edey. And then the last part of that is the fact that they've been letting their last couple of opponents shoot wide open threes.
Yeah.
And Purdue ain't the team to let them take those type of shots. Marquette wasn't knocking down shots. Duke wasn't knocking down shots. Purdue will knock those shots down if they give them to them.
Man, great stuff, Haywood. Hey, thanks for popping on, man. We need to do this again. Go a little more story time with you.
Oh, man, no doubt, man.
Good catching up, brother.
Appreciate you guys having me. Slay, wish you the best, man.
Man, you too, brother.
But not Tony Harris. I still don't know Tony Harris.
I love him, man.
I know. Slay was talking about having him on not too long from now. So Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, Brendan Haywood. Courtesy of Bet Online. Check out Bet Online for the most up-to-date men's and women's game lines and unique prop bets for the Final Four.